Okay, so there's about three stories I want to talk about really quickly. I'm going to make this as quick as possible. So, first of all, COVID-19, as you know, has cost a lot of people their jobs, and mortgage payments have been obviously delayed for many people because the problem is now they have to choose between giving away what little money they have to keep their house or risking going bankrupt and going into foreclosure due to COVID-19. So my question is this: if I can't pay you $2,000 this month, what makes you think that I'd be able to pay you $6,000 3 months from now? This issue is ultimately that the homeowner hasn't really been protected because the problem is that the banks are still demanding a balloon payment, which means all of your payments consecutively handed in at the exact same time. If you have to hand in a balloon payment, most people, especially people who've lost their job due to coronavirus through no fault of their own, are going to risk going into foreclosure simply because they can't come up with that balloon payment because they lost their job. Now, the CARE Act, they call it, it seems to me you don't really care, but the CARE Act is supposed to slow down federal foreclosures, especially if you have a FHA loan, and it's supposed to do that for about at least 90 days or so. And you can read about that yourself because it's going to be top news because a lot of people, you know, they've gone right past the period where they were supposed to pay their mortgage, April 1st. And unfortunately, a lot of them weren't like me where we were able to wake up April 1st. And the first thing I did when I woke up was jumped on my phone and paid Wells Fargo their little $2,020. So a lot of people don't have that option because they've lost their job. And I'm disappointed that the administration hasn't done more to, you know, deal with that. But the thing about it is, what are they really doing? Which brings me to my next issue. Donald Trump has a stake in hydroxychloroquine. So the reason why this jerk off is standing there conning this public is because he himself has a stake in hydroxychloroquine. So guess what? He's pushing a drug that he has a stake in. As far as I know, that's an impeachable offense. But I'll leave that to the congressional lawmakers and the Supreme Court to figure out. But I already know, since I know how to fucking read, that that's an impeachable offense. You're not supposed to do that. That is an impeachable offense. So if you want to impeach him, do it now, because that's an impeachable offense. That's a violation of the Constitution. You're not supposed to be pushing drugs. In fact, the SEC would call that insider trading, since you're at the top of the executive branch pushing a drug that you have a stake in. So I'll allow you lawmakers who are supposed to know more than me to do something about it. Okay, so anyway, besides that, I guess the last thing I would talk about would normally be the fact that these homeowners are going to be hurt by the fact that they have to delay these mortgage payments. But the thing about it is, when I started looking at this fact that Trump was pushing hydroxychloroquine, that got me thinking. It's like, wait a minute. What company makes hydroxychloroquine? What stock is that? So it turns out that hydroxychloroquine is made by a company named Sanofi. So let's take a quick look at Sanofi. Sanofi is a French drug maker. Sanofi, S-N-Y, Sanofi. Sanofi, and you can see the first thing that pops up, Business Insider, Trump has a very small financial tie to hydroxychloroquine. Yeah, it's very small now, but the thing about it is you're basically manipulating the market by bringing this information out and pushing this drug. That's what you're doing. That's why the SEC should have been all over your ass for this, but apparently they know more than me, but they're not able to do anything because as far as I am concerned, this is an impeachable offense. But anyway, I've been giving you stock tips lately, and now I've made my case. Sanofi, their stock right now, in 3 months, their stock bottomed out. Look at this shit. This stock went down to, what is this? 38.02. $38.02. But look where they are now. Now, by the way, what date is this? This is This is mid-March, right? So that's probably about March 15th. Look where they are now. They're going up $46.12. So what's happening here? Well, because Trump is pushing hydroxychloroquine and Sanofi makes it, I think it's obvious to say that he's driving their stock prices up. So right now it's at $46.12. Here's a question. Who among you who listens to me, especially, it's unfortunate that a lot of you Trump sycophants and ass kissers who are on my channel get to benefit from these golden nuggets that I'm handing out of information. But who among you is willing to risk any of your money on Sanofi, a company which the president is currently pushing a drug that is being made, has a stake in the company, and you already know that there's a lot of Trump sycophants and ass kissers out there who are going to buy into this drug? How many of you want to risk some money buying a stake in this company? If you're interested in risking your money and you already have a trading account, let me know in the comment section below, because I believe I've made my case as crystal clear as I can possibly make it. This drug price has been pushed up. These guys were at, what is this, 38.02, and now they're at 46.12. So that means that anybody who bought in when he started pushing this shit, he turned them around basically just by talking about it. That's the reason why you have to be scared about somebody who's in the executive branch or government who is openly pushing products forward or openly driving stock prices just by saying things. A lot of people were saying, wait, why is Trump saying that we're going to be able to go back to normal? And there's no way we can go back to normal. People are still dying. But what they don't understand is every time he opens his mouth, he's manipulating the market. And that's something that I knew early on. It's kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm telling you that this guy is manipulating the market, has a stake in the company, and he's driving their stock prices up. So again, my question to you is, how many of you want to openly invest your money in Sanofi? Because as far as I can tell, what's going to end up happening is he's going to drive these stock prices up, but then eventually something may come out that says hydroxychloroquine may not be that great, or that there's something else better, and then prices are going to fall. So that means that this is kind of like a pump and dump scheme. That's something where you pump up a drug price or you pump up a market and then you just sell out of it after it gets its high. That's what happened to Bitcoin, basically. Bitcoin hit 19,000. It's never going to see 19,000 again. Once the federal government entered it and started taxing it and started making people track their records for it, Bitcoin can't seem to get past $15,000 or $16,000, but it's never going back to 19. Everybody else thought it was going to be $100,000 by now. It ain't never going there again. But that's what we call in the market. We call that a pump and dump scheme. So again, my question to you is very simple. Who wants to risk some of their money today or tomorrow buying into Sanofi, who makes hydroxychloroquine? And before I go, also really quickly, allow me to remind you that what I said is happening. First of all, the automakers were the first, Ford, Fiat, Chrysler, and GM, they were the first to shutter their factories until the COVID-19 threat is mitigated. But now Boeing is cutting down on their production. And this was a story that was released April 6th, 2020. That was yesterday. Today is April 7th. So obviously what's happening is the automakers and the airline industry and the cruise industry are all being hurt by this. So the thing about it is Boeing right now, their stock right now is Boeing is $148.77. 3 months ago, they were God damn it. COVID-19. 3 months ago, they were trading at $352, and now they're down to $148. So let me see what they are this week. Okay, 160, they dropped down as low as 120. So the thing about it is right now, 120 is probably their 52-week low, I believe. In fact, it says, yeah, their 52-week low is $129.21. So guess what? This is what they look like over a year. Right now, I would say give them a little bleeding room because their stock is going to start to bleed out as people short sell. So my guess is if anybody who has some money and wants to risk some money in Boeing, because, you know, obviously Boeing's going to be around for a long time, this is the time to get in. These bastards, my God, COVID-19 is kicking ass. Like, what is this? 6 months ago, they were at $381. $381 a share. COVID-19 is kicking their ass. So here's another question for you. How many of you want to get yourself a stake in Boeing? How many of y'all got those juicy tax returns and you want to get yourself a nice juicy stake in Boeing? See, Jim Cramer doesn't give you these golden nuggets. I'm giving you gold here. Jim Cramer doesn't give you these golden nuggets. And since I'm not on the inside, it's not insider trading. I'm reading the market right here and I'm giving you, my followers, I'm giving you gold. 2 stock picks today. Boeing, and don't buy Boeing today. Give them a couple of days to bleed out as people short sell. But I'm giving you gold over here. Jim Cramer ain't this accurate. So whoever wants to buy in, make sure you take your juicy tax returns and you get them ready so you can buy yourself a stake in Boeing. I would say probably wait until about the end of April and see where they are, but something tells me they're going to be a lot lower than $148.